Welcome everyone in lecture 16 of unit 4, and in this lecture we are going to design a PDA for L is equal to a raised to power I, b raised to power j, c raised to power k, where I equal to j or j equal to k and I comma j comma k greater than equal to 1. So in this language, either I will be equal to j, it means we have to match a and b, and c can be any number greater than equal to 1, or j equal to k, it means that a can be anything, b and c should be same in count. B comes first and then c comes, and the count of b equal to count of c in case of j equal to k. So this language can be seen as an, bn, cm, n comma m greater than equal to 1, where I equal to j, it means I have to match a and b. Union a, n, b, m, c, m, n comma m greater than equal to 1, where j equal to k, we have to match b with c, and we don't care about a. A can be anything greater than equal to 1. Here c can be anything greater than equal to 1. We have to match a and b here, and here we have to match b and c. So, and this language is inherently ambiguous language. If you have seen it earlier in unit 3, we can't do both condition at one time, because I equal to j and j equal to k means a n, b n, c n, that is non-contest free. So either I have to take the case of I equal to j, or I have to take the case of j equal to k at one time. So I am designing this PDA as push all edge on reading B. On reading B, I have two choice. On reading B, either I have to pop A with B to match A and B n, pop all edge on each B on reading B's, and do nothing for C's. So either I have to do a n, b n, I equal to j, and c can be anything, do nothing. Or on reading b, what I can do, push all b's to match with c. So what I am doing, I am pushing all a's first. Once I read b, I have to take decision on reading b. Either I am going to do I equal to j, it's mean that on reading b I have to pop a, or I am going to do j equal to k, it's mean that on reading b I have to push b so that I can match them with c's, and I don't care about a. When I pushed b, I have to match with c, or on reading b I have to pop a so that I can match a and b, and I have to do nothing for c. So I have two choices, either to do I equal to j or j equal to k. At here on j equal to k, when I will push b and match with c, then age will left on stack. So it can be designed as start state, first a, z0 is the stack initial symbol. I am pushing this into the stack. Then after pushing first a, there can be more edge, and I am pushing all edge into the stack. Now I am going to read b, and a is on the top of the stack, and I have to make choice that on reading b I have to pop a, or on reading b I have to push b to match with c. So here we have two choices. Either I am moving to q1 and pop a, it's mean that I am going to do I equal to j, or I am moving q0 to q2 where I am pushing b into the stack. Either I will do this in case of I equal to j, or do this in case of j equal to k. So here I have two choices. Either I will pop a on reading b, or I will push b so that I can match them with c later. Now problem will become in two parts. Either I will go to q1 or go to q2. So at q1 I can read more b's and I have to pop all edge. This is the loop. I will pop all edge on reading b one by one. After popping edge from the stack on reading b, I will reach to the c. I will reach to the c, and this time z0 will be at the top of the stack because all edge are popped out here. So I will move to q3. I am using q3 here because q2 is already used, and I have to do nothing here. This is the first C. There can be more C's, and I have to do nothing for all C's. And at the end I will reach to the end of input. I will reach to the end of the input, and I will reach to the final by popping z0 out of the stack. So this portion is for I equal to j. From q0 to this side I am popping a, then I will pop all edge on reading b, then do nothing for c. In second part, either I will push b into the stack. On reading b I am pushing b into the stack, and because I am going to match j equal to k here. So at q2 this is the first b, then there can be more b. Now b will be on the top as already one b is pushed here. So I will push all b into the stack. Here I will push all b's into the stack. Then I will read c. This will be the first c and b will be on the top. So I have to pop this c and move to the new state, say q4. q3 is used, so I am telling this it is a q4. I am popping b with c. On reading c I will pop b, and this is the first c. So there can be more c's on the input and more b on the stack. So I have to pop all b's from the stack. So this is the loop. I will pop all b. So at the end of the input, what will be on the top of the stack? I pushed b and I popped b. So a will be on the top of the stack because a is already pushed here. So what I can do, this is the first a I will found in on the stack. So I am changing state to q5 and popping this a from the stack. Then at q5 there can be more edge on this stack, so I will pop all edge from this stack, and then I will get z0. I will reach to the final state here. So I have two choices. Either I will go for I equal to j or j equal to k. So this will be the PDF for I equal to j or j equal to k. In this PDF, if you look carefully, here we have two choices on single transition. In this transition we have two choices, and that makes PDA to non-deterministic. That is why PDA is non-deterministic here. It is known as NPDA. Here PDA is non-deterministic because we have two choices on this transition. On reading B, A on the top of the stack, either I will pop this way, or either will be I will push this way. And that is why we write transition in curly braces. Why I write transition in curly braces? Why we write transition in curly braces? Because it is a set of transition. There can be more than one choices. So this PDA is non-deterministic PDA. And for this language we can design non-deterministic PDA only because I have to make the choice. Otherwise we cannot design deterministic PDA for it. We can design only non-deterministic PDA where we have to make decision, either do this or do this, either do this or do this. So that is why it is non-deterministic in nature. So a PDA can be non-deterministic PDA, that is known as NPDA, and it can be deterministic PDA, DPDA. And you can identify if there are more than one choices, then PDA will be NPDA here. And deterministic PDA have two properties, that at most one transition is allowed here. There will be no more than one choice. Here we have two choices in NPDA. In DPDA there will be at most one transition. At most one transition will be in DPDA. And second thing is that null transition is allowed only at the end of input. We cannot write null transition in DPDA in between. If suppose I have A, B, B, A, and I am assuming there is a null, we can't assume this in DPDA. In NPDA we can assume there are null in between input. In DPDA we assume null is at the end of input. In DPDA null is at the end of the input. In NPDA we can write null transition in between also. In between the input we can assume there is a null here. So NPDA have more than one choices at the transition. In DPDA there is only one choice of transition, at most one choice. It can be 0, it can be 1 maximum. So PDA will be non-deterministic or deterministic. And remember that NPDA is more powerful than DPDA, because by DPDA we cannot design PDA for all. We cannot design DPDA for all languages. Suppose this is the language and this language is inherent ambiguous, and we know that there will be multiple choices. I have to take decision of I equal to J or J equal to K. That is why we have to make choice at one place, either do I equal to J or J equal to K. So we cannot design deterministic PDA for this language, and we can design non-deterministic PDA for this language. In FA, if you will remember, in FA, epsilon NFA, NFA and DFA both are equivalent. We can design NFA to DFA, epsilon NFA to DFA, but in PDA it is not possible to design DPDA for NPDA. DPDA is differ, NPDA is differ. Thanks for attending the lecture.